your mom and your dad. What were their names?
Well, take my picture first.
It is.
Huh?
It's a video camera. So it's recording your voice and it's recording.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, what should I say?
Tell me about your mom and your dad. Their names.
My dad was Ellis Cook, and my mother was Catherine, and my mother died when she was 47. Here's your beer, Donald.
Oh, I was wondering where that went.
And
what's bothering you?
what else? And then she died, and my dad married my mother's sister.
Okay. Then you had the oldest one in the family was?
Oh, Frances.
Oh, she the oldest?
Mm-hmm.
Cause yeah. And then Uncle.
She was.
I thought Uncle Bernie was the oldest.
She was. I think 18 years old, and I was 5 or 6.
Okay. And then Uncle Bernie, how old was he? Bernie or Bernard?
Bernard.
Bernard.
He was 2 years younger than Frances.
And then it was Aunt Rita.
Then she was 2 years younger. They're all 2 years younger.
My God, the only person changed?
Now, Papa Cook was a farmer, right?
Yep,
And then he had an insurance business.
yep.
What was the insurance business he had?
People Mutual.
And then what was the bank that he had stock in?
I thought Grand Rapids, I don't know. And Pewamo.
Okay.
Pewamo.
And then the Depression came along?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And he had to double that amount in Pewamo
Wonder why.
because they had to pay everybody off.
Yeah.
No, they don't do that.
I know it.
So then, how come that's such a nice house that you were born and raised in? Because it's all brick.
I know it.
Was that one of the nicest houses around there?
Yeah, that was the nicest house in Pewamo and around. But my dad went to the woods and cut down a lot of trees. What was that, maple in that house or what?
Oak.
Oak. And he cut a lot of oak and had it planed and then kept it for about 2 years
Oh.
to get it dry.
It had to be dry. I surprised you could get that dry.
I don't know, maybe 3 years, I don't know, but he did it years ahead of time. And then we lived in that schoolhouse there in the corner.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, they had that house built.
Oh, you're kidding. Where did they live before
Are
that?
you sure about that?
I know it.
I thought it was that building right to the east of that. Is what
Well, they
lived.
had their wash machine and all that stuff in there. But to live,
Oh.
I remember we went in that schoolhouse.
Where were you born? You were born. You were born in that house?
The
I
new
was born in
house.
that new house.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Rita was born that first year it was built, and I was born 2 years later.
Okay. So then, that's because Papa Cook had the insurance business? Is that where the money came from? And the bank?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, tell me about school, Mom. Tell me about going to school. I love that story.
Well, I went to that district school, and then when we were in the 4th grade, we went to the Catholic school in Pewamo.
And you had to walk there.
Uh-huh.
And how many miles?
About 3.5.
I couldn't do that today, Mom.
Uh-huh.
The town. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then toward the end, we could get the bus.
Oh,
The
when
bus
you
came by there.
were in high school?
No, when we were still going to Catholic school.
Oh,
There
okay.
was no bus.
Donald, don't you think I know?
I can't tell me what bus it was.
I knew it was a bus that came from Ionia to Pewamo.
Is that right?
We didn't have that
That was
road
old,
we have now.
That was old M21.
Yeah.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah.
Where was old M21?
Right, went right by Gwendolyn Alliance.
That was old M21?
That
Yeah.
was old M21.
And went by the cemetery, went down there by Townsend and across that bridge
Oh, okay.
and to our place.
I never knew
That
that.
there road is closed now. There isn't even
Yeah.
a road there.
The third bridge.
Third bridge is
Third
closed.
bridge.
Yeah, I didn't know that was old M21.
That was all old 1021. And then they got that road fixed that they have now. That
Okay.
that goes north of the, or south of the cemetery there. You take that road.
I didn't know that.
Uh-huh.
You met Dad.
Well, we went to high school
Okay.
together.
When did you two start dating?
Oh, I went to Normal.
Well, tell me. I don't understand
I
this.
went to Normal
And normal was what?
in St. John's, and I got my certificate to teach.
Okay.
And that's where I taught. And let's see, 4 years was it? I could teach, and I had to go back to Mount Pleasant to get a couple of degrees, or credit hours. Well, I don't think they called it credit hours then. And then I could teach another 4 years.
Okay.
Now they don't have it that way.
And then you taught after that?
I taught after that. And then I had to go to Mount Pleasant every Saturday for a year to get my other, you had to get so many, they didn't call it credit hours then, just degrees.
So from there then you taught at that little schoolhouse you used to live in?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Uh-huh.
What year was that? About
I have no idea.
1936,
We
37.
got married in 30.
You got married in
36 or
38.
37. So
You got married in
yeah, a few
1938,
years.
didn't you? Pat was born in
You
19...
taught before, yeah, after you're married.
Yeah, the cook school.
No, the Kimball School.
Oh, they call it the Kimball
The
School?
Kimball School.
With all, how many... Gene Cook was in that, wasn't he?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I remember talking about that.
I had 27 students.
One-room schoolhouse.
Uh-huh. All grades.
I couldn't do it.
They're all cooks.
They were all grades, and then
Were they all cooks?
just about.
The teacher was cooked.
Yeah, right, Dad.
More.
Well, my favorite story is the one about Aunt Rita and when you two took off and or you met her in Traverse City. And
Oh.
she was working for Ford. I
Yeah.
love that story.
Well, she, how was that? I
Took
went
the
by
bus
bus.
up there.
And, and she took, what'd she take, the plane? No, she'd
She'd take the bus. She'd meet you from...
She made you. You see, you went up there alone. But
yeah, and she went up there alone.
See, you didn't get off the bus in time, so you had to get a taxi or some damn thing to get you over there, wasn't that?
No, well, I told them where I wanted to go. And they made out the ticket wrong.
Oh,
And I went, well, it wasn't beyond Traverse City. See, you curve and go that way. I'd have to get another bus.
okay.
And this bus went straight up. Well, then when he found that out, he let me off here so that he had someone who was driving to Traverse City and put me on there.
Mm.
And then you met up and you got a motel room.
I got a hotel room and then waited for Reed to come the next day.
And then you two went out that night and she said you found some guys.
No, we went to a restaurant. We went to a restaurant to eat. No, we went to the hotel and there was so much noise. They were having a party there. And finally I said to Rita, "Are you sleeping?" And she said, "No." I said, "I'm not either." I said, "Let's get dressed and go downtown." We were just a block away. So we got up, got dressed, and went to this restaurant. And my gal, there was a whole bunch, some guys there on the other side of the restaurant. And so they start coming over. And oh, I told him I was from New York, and I don't know what Rita told her. And she said, he said, how about going out? And we said, I don't know what excuse we gave him. So I says, when he went to, I don't know if he went to get a drink or something, they were giving us drinks. And I said, come on, let's get out of here. And boy, we got out there in a hurry. And then they knew what hotel we were at. So they came and
Weren't they telling a story about they had all this crocodiles from Florida, or there's all this land down in orange groves and down in Florida?
Yeah.
And you pretend you were a rich person from...
I didn't know they had that much land, they were rich. And I told them how much land we had, and they said, oh my gosh, you're well off.
They wanted to go out, they wanted to take her out picking cherries. Picking cherries, hell.
So when we came back from the restaurant, we went to the place across the road. They had sort of a hotel, so we went in there and waited. And we had to wait a long time for those guys to get off that porch and go on home.
See, where they lived, there wasn't a tree around. It was just prairie. All good black land. But
They gave a lot of land away to government for them to go out west.
Was that the late 1800s when they came there? I bet it was.
I have an idea it is.
Yeah.
well, I was born in 1915. So, God, it must have been around about 1890 or 1895. But, what? He was kind of bossy. He and Dad didn't get along together. Of course, Dad was full of hell.
I wonder where you got yours, Dad,
Yeah,
from.
I remember one day Dad was telling about the preacher had come out from town with a horse and buggy, and then in the morning, he'd stay all night, and in the morning, Grandpa would tell Dad to go harness up the horse and hook the horse to the buggy. And of course, you had two lines there, the right and the left. But Dad would cross the lines. See, it wouldn't. So when the line he pull on the right.
G would be.
He pull on the line, the damn horse turned to the left, and the preacher would, of course, he'd run right in the ditch and tipped over the buggy and.
He came back and told your mother or dad that he had a bad boy. Your
Mother was English,
so she came over.
and
Her maiden name was Hinton, wasn't it?
Hinton, yeah. And Grandma and Grandpa and her older sister come over on a sailboat.
Oh my God.
And
Do you know where in England?
come from here. I never heard. I don't know for sure what why they they settled in Iowa. I don't know that part of it. But Grandpa, he settled. His hobby was he had these greyhound dogs.
Oh yeah. I remember you talking about those.
Yeah. They had one dog named Queenie, this three-legged dog, but she could lead the pack. They used them to chase these jackrabbits. The boys would have these riding horses and keep up while they had these horses, and the dogs would catch the rabbit. And Dad, I don't know what nationality he was. Now they got married, and I suppose in Goldfield, that town there, and Grandpa and Grandma brought all the children to Michigan. They settled in Muir.
They sold their farm because why?
I don't know unless it be that 1 acre. That was about the best ground there was in Iowa. Why? I don't know. He was a roamer. They like to move around. Just,
Did they take the train when they came out? Do you remember?
yeah.
Where'd they land, in Muir?
Yeah. What?
Did they go to Muir Lines or Ionia?
That train landed in Muir. All the livestock, the furniture. I suppose they brought the furniture with them. And Dad moved out with Uncle Green.
Oh.
He farmed for him for a year or so out there. George Green. Then he moved from there out here where that tenant house of Norbert Simmons.
Oh, that's right.
That right there, that big house there. And then he moved over here and Grandpa. How the hell did they get a hold of this place? Dad bought this place. Yeah, all the boys. Grandpa bought land for him. Well,
Kid, well, you're animals when you were a kid.
Animals.
Well, yeah, your horses. Didn't you have a horse and a
Oh,
dog?
I got
A dog and a horse.
Yeah.
What was the dog's name? You like dogs.
Pal. First dog. I imagine that little dog. That was a stock dog, but I forgot that. But the first dog I remember is that police dog, and he could do anything that any brother or sister could do. If I wanted to ride the bicycle, he got on the bicycle with me. If I wanted to ride the horse, he got on the horse with me. If I wanted to go to town in the wintertime, he pulled me to town on the sled.
And your horse?
Oh, the horse. I went to school. See, when
What was the name of the horse?
Flory.
Flory.
Flory. Dad.
Flory.
Did you name the horse Flory? Or?
That was Grandpa's horse.
Oh.
Grandpa brought that house out. Dad, that was Dad's horse. Dad, he took Mother around in the buggy. That's when they were going together before they got married. That was his horse.
And what they had to do is get a flat iron or something like that and put it in the oven and get it real warm and put it on either a sled or a buggy.
In the wintertime.
In the wintertime, they'd have to put that on the seat aside of them to keep warm.
You put that on your feet.
Well, they either
You put
there
your
or your feet.
Where do you think you put it? What? Where'd they put it?
Well, they said they put it on the side of them, each side.
God.
And
No, you didn't worry about your body never got cold as your feet. You had Grandpa had a big buffalo coat. That was skinned out of a buffalo, and that was his coat, and that was some coat.
All right, tell about when you two met.
High school in the 9th grade.
no, we did not. I didn't go with you. I hardly knew you. 'Cause
Well,
I
that's
was
when
going to Catholic school.
Yes, yeah, the 8th grade.
Oh.
And
I remember you in the 9th grade.
then I went on to normal, and I wasn't until I was teaching when you wanted to go out with me.
But you were together in high school, 9th grade through 12th?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Graduated together.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I want to tell that. That's my favorite story.
Yeah.
I didn't even hardly know him.
Well, you know why, don't you? He was mad at me.
Well, you always wanted to go out with me or something, and I didn't want to.
You were a little bit fussy, weren't you? Let's see. I know Bernard. How the hell they picked me up? We went, there was Rita and you and Bernard and me. I'd go down the creek, spear fish.
Oh, yeah. He'd come over and then we'd all go down and spear fish. That wasn't very exciting for us. We
You
just
got-
sat in the car.
Well, you told me you got all excited.
Oh, shit.
I put my arm around you, you said
No.
Tell us about your wedding day and your wedding party.
Oh my goodness. 6 or 7 girls, wasn't there?
There was Esther Fedor and Rita Janinoff and my sister Rita.
Rita didn't know.
And
There's Ted Grusty,
Bernard was.
Bernard, and Fred maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, they had an old Model T car with the fenders, the front and the back stuck out like that. See, they didn't wrap around like that. Now that was an old one.
But we had a big wagon with some seats on the wagon that we took Nick Roach and Aura.
This is another couple.
That was married 18 years that day.
There was three guys, and they were nuts. They drove us to Hubbardson. Then we got back about 12:30, 1 o'clock. Then they served breakfast, didn't you?
At the house.
You
Oh
know?
my God.
Yeah. Well, we did that with Fred's.
Yeah, that's
wedding.
right.
And then they had dinner about 2 or 3 o'clock. Of course, then there was a dance. Then Marianne and we got our car, and we took off.
So how'd you get the farm?
What?
How'd you get the farm?
How did I get that farm?
Yeah.
I bought it for, well, the whole farm only cost $5,000. But it was, the buildings were, the barns were
And the
only,
house wasn't that much.
and I didn't have any money.
Well,
I used Dad's tools,
Andrew Fox.
right around the corner. Right?
Andrew Fox, they lost it. They lost that farm.
Or depression?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
And we bought it from, whom did we buy it from?
Land. What
In St. John's, we bought it.
yeah.
So
We put a bid on it, and it was the highest bid, so that was a...
Was there any running water to the house?
No, there wasn't
nothing.
anything.
Oh, that house was such a mess, it was pathetic. Yes, sir, I really worked in that house.
How'd you get the water into the house? There wasn't a creek.
Well, we carried, let's see,
We carried it from down to the barn.
no.
Yes, we did.
Well, when the
And
well
then-
went dry up by the house, then you had to, you know.
We had to do it about right away. And then we had a cistern right there next to the house where we pull up water to heat to wash.
Had a rope on the
Hmm.
bucket.
And then we put it in a boiler on the stove to heat it.
Outside, of course, there was no electricity there for a while.
I know it. Oh, what I went through. I'll never forget.
And the stove, I didn't have any money. We had enough money to buy a cook stove, didn't we?
Yeah.
But I was out down to the Hardin one day, and I saw this old round sheet iron stove, and it laid out there in back, and I asked Daverts what they take for that thing. Well, he says, we threw it away. If you want it, you can have it.
It's a round belly stove
So we set that in the living room.
to heat the living room and the bedroom.
All wood, of course, in those days. Now, wait a minute. We put a furnace in the basement, didn't we?
About a year or so later.
Yeah, because my God, that house was cold. No
Talk
insulation.
about no insulation.
No
Well,
no
we
air.
had to, at night, we sit in the living room and shut the kitchen door. And that wasn't heated. And then in the morning, we'd start the stove and heat the kitchen.
Now you must have had to carry that wood for that stove in the
I
living-
sure did.
Yeah, damn right you. And then the kitchen stove.
And what a dirt, you know how much dirt that would be. Constantly, the floor was dirty.
I wouldn't have cleaned it.
Mm.
So then Pat came along.
Yeah, Pat, come on.
How come you named her Pat?
Pat was born before we moved over there.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
How come you named her Patricia?
I don't know, I think I was reading a story about a Pat, a girl named Pat, or Donald did, and he liked that name, so he named her Pat, Patricia.
Did you ever in the grandma's house then? Where was she born? In the hospital or grandma's house?
No, took her to St. John's in the
Oh, okay.
car.
Stayed there 10 days. You couldn't walk until the 8th day, or 9th day, got up and could walk to the bathroom and back. And then you could go home the next day.
That sounds good to me. I could do that.
And then now, they go have their baby and come home.
Yeah, they only can only stay about 1 or 2
Guess
days.
Yeah, just overnight, maybe.
So Bill, why'd you name him Bill?
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
Fred's for Uncle Fred.
There's Fred.
Kathy's for your mom.
Mm-hmm, Catherine.
And St. Jenny, me.
Yeah. Well, that Jennifer just came out. That name Jennifer came out at that time.
Right.
And
How come Mike's named Mike?
because Gerard was a saint for for birth, and I liked Mike, so I named him Michael Gerard.
Little
If
Mickey.
everything was okay.
Little Mickey.
Yeah, Michael Gerard.